but he graces us with his presence for 4 hours this morning. His name is C-Mac, better known as Chris McMonigle. Chris McMonigle, better known as C-Mac. What is up, dude? How are
Jerry,
you?
thank you for the intro. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, we had another wonderful weekend of football, didn't we?
If that's what you want to call it.
And the Giants, this is now what they do. They just lose all year, make you sick to your stomach watching them, just in time where you feel like maybe there's going to be some sort of light at the end of the tunnel for all of the losing, and then they step up and win.
Well, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm here to tell you there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I am not going to sit here for 4 hours and argue with you about the whole thing about tanking, don't tank. Because in theory, I agree with you. It's better if they would have lost the game yesterday. I agree. In reality, though, you can't do that to the 22 guys on the field. And the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm dismissing the report about the Giants, possibly before yesterday's game wanting to draft Mendoza or thinking about it. I don't buy any of that, though I'm sure there's some semblance of truth from someone. That having been said, the light at the end of the tunnel is what we've thought it's been now for a couple of months, even though they haven't won any games. The quarterback. And the quarterback yesterday played a really good football game. I thought he was sharp. I thought he ran when he had to run. They had one or two design runs for him. I thought it was a good mix. He's throwing to nobody. This is the one thing that as I'm watching the game yesterday, Chris, and while I wasn't excited to watch the game, I also figured I knew Red Zone was going to give you both games since you only had two in that window. So I actually did use Red Zone yesterday to keep up on both games, and I feel like I saw every snap. I always come back to Neighbors went down and what the season could have been. And I know he's not the end-all, be-all, but it makes a difference. Scatterbo goes down. I wonder what the season could have been. And, for those that sit there and say it's not about the one guy or the two guy, understood. But you need star players in big spots on the field. I feel like the Giants are at least in the process of gathering that. It's been a brutal year, but we don't know what it could have been. Yesterday, though, I thought looked good, albeit against a bad team. I thought he played well.
Yeah. I don't know what you take from it, Jerry. I hear what you're saying. He did look good. I even thought the design runs, he got out of bounds a couple times. He looked like he was learning to play safer and all that great. And sure, Wan'Dale Robinson had a really good game, over 100 yards, over 1,000 yards for the season. Really nice. It looked great. It was against the Raiders team that understood what they needed to do. I know the players on the field went out and played hard. I get it. They took away their best defensive player. They made it quite clear to the entire team that we don't want to win the game. He's got a knee injury. He's played every week. Now all of a sudden he can't play.
And posted a video of him playing basketball.
With his kid. Like, they made it clear what the objective of that game was for the Raiders. And they played as such. And I'm sorry if I don't get all goosed up that they won their third game of the year in Week 17. And I understand. I've been saying that the same thing you're saying, and I don't disagree with you because I like Jackson Dart. And I don't think they're drafting anybody else. But when it comes to the draft, you can't believe anything that's said. They're looking at possibly having the number one pick. So the report is, we might take a quarterback. You better come up and trade with us or give us a big package if you want to get that first pick. So I don't believe any of that reporting. The other report about Joe Shane we'll get to. But, I'm sorry. It is tough for me in Week 17 to look at this and take anything out of it or to look and to go back and say what could have been. What is they are as bad a football team as we have seen year in and year out. They are with the Jets. They are with the Browns. They are with any other organization that has done nothing but lose for forever. And as much as I'd like to take something from it and say the quarterback played well and he ran the ball and they did this and they did that, all I can tell you is I had to sit through this entire year and watch them blow leads, watch them lose games, watch them vomit all over themselves, and then finally play a game where, yes, against a miserable opponent, but I had to watch them go up and down the field. I had to watch Deontay Banks, who is quite possibly the worst first-round pick they have made. They traded up to select this kid. He has been awful. He can't make a play all year. He's getting benched for nobodies, and he's the guy who runs the kickoff back to secure the victory. It is poetic justice, and it's undeserved for us Giant fans.
Well, and what you just hit on is my next point. I hate the draft. I hate the draft with a passion because no one knows what any of these kids are ever going. They're draft picks. That's all they are until they prove otherwise. You picked Abdul Carter. He's been better the last few weeks. I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not going to call him a bust. Can't do that in 1 year. You picked him 3rd overall last year, and you got nothing from him this season. Yeah. You don't know what the draft is. Now, I'm going to bring it back to the quarterback, and then the other piece of this, and that's the coach, not Kafka. Who is the next coach? Because you have seen in this league, if you get the right coach and quarterback combination with pieces around it, and I do believe, I will sit here and die on this hill, the Giants have good players. Collectively, maybe not 52 of them, no. But they've got good pieces at every position. The offensive line has not been dreadful this year. It's actually been pretty good. And it's been, marked by Andrew Thomas, hurt a little bit now. I get it, but he's been there most of the season. You've got Brian Burns. You've got Neighbors coming back. You've got Scatterboo. You've got Dart now. There's a lot to like. You got to get the coach. You see what the Patriots have done. You see what the Bears have done. This is not like, I understand they've been brutal for a decade. All good, aside from the 1 year where they went to the playoffs. If you get the right coach in, you can flip this around relatively quickly, but you got to hire the right guy.
Yeah.
And nothing else matters.
Yeah, and Joe Shane is going to be the one hiring that guy.
Well, that's a different conversation.
Faith. Well, no, it isn't. You're asking me to trust that they're going to hire the right coach.
I didn't
They haven't done. Well,
I said they have to. I'm not asking you.
They have to, but I mean, sure. And you're right. Yes, they have an offensive line that's played better than it has in forever, right? And Andrew Thomas is one of the best left tackles in the sport. And they've got Dexter Lawrence, who hopefully will have a bounce back year, 2nd year removed from the injury. Burns, you're expecting, obviously, we talked about Abdul Carter. I expect him to have a much better 2nd year. And I do believe in the quarterback. I truly do. And that is the backbone of any organization. And I do believe that they have that moving forward. But it is hard to have faith in this group. It is hard to have faith when you hear Joe Shane is coming back, which I knew the whole time. We'll get to that later, as you said. But hire the right coach. Okay, where is he? Who's going to target him? This organization has done nothing but hire the wrong guy year after year after year. And even when they fire the wrong guy, they fire him at the wrong time. It hurts the development of the quarterback. There has not been one decision made by this organization other than allowing Brian Daboll to have his say on who they drafted quarterback this past year in Jackson Dart. There has not been one decision this organization has made from the minute they fired Coughlin till now that makes any damn freaking sense. And as much as I'd like to tell you that, yes, I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that, it is hard to envision them getting it right. So when I look at that game yesterday, it's the same thing. I think of Tommy DeVito winning games against the Green Bay Packers and winning games against the Patriots and being all excited. And he's at delis in Jersey signing, T-shirts, and he's selling tomato sauce online, and he's become this great thing. And, people are yelling he should be the future quarterback in the New York Giants. And instead, they lose the opportunity to draft the MVP of the league, who just barely threw an incomplete pass against the Jets. And then I'm watching, Drew Lock beat the Colts last year. It is so frustrating to put your fans in a position year in and year out. And I know you don't want to harp on it, but I'm sorry, I can't not harp on it.
I don't want to harp on it because
they're putting us in a position year in and year out where they lose to the point of that's the only thing left to do, and then they stick us with this victory.
Yeah, I understand, but unless you're going to pull everybody out of the game, and the quarterback has to play. That would have been the one. But even if you throw Jameis Winston out there, you're going to tell me he's not going to go try and ball out and win? No. The only answer would have been, you make Russell Wilson the quarterback yesterday. Right. You don't play Brian Burns, and they're not going to do that.
No, I agree.
And I know what the Raiders did. I get it with what's his name, with Max Crosby. But you've got I really do believe that when you've got a kid like Dart, who has, as he has even said, has known really nothing but winning his entire career, and now all of a sudden he can't figure out how to win at the pro level, I do think it's important. I think for him personally anyway, to get that feeling and the stink off his shoulders going into. I got news for you. I think they might beat the Cowboys Sunday because I don't know what the hell the Cowboys are going to do at quarterback. Yeah. I haven't seen this. I know Dak wants to play, but I also know there's this thought out there that there's no way you can let him play at his age, and knowing how important next season is for him, I wouldn't be stunned if Joe Milton's out there playing quarterback for the Cowboys, and Jackson Dart against a Cowboy defense that has been dreadful all season long. If you told me he threw for 263 scores and ran for one Sunday, I wouldn't be shocked if they won a fourth game on Sunday. Yeah. Unless you're going to bench him, the kid's got to go out and play, and I thought he was good.
Agree with you. First off, that's the other thing, too. Watching the game, and I didn't know all that, you turn on the game, and it's like, if they lose, they're guaranteed. And I was like, this is perfect. Lose this game, you're guaranteed. Then I can actually be like a fan next week and go root for them to beat a divisional opponent in the Cowboys. And I don't have to sit here hoping they lose so that the draft stock doesn't even fall even further. So, but I understand. I want to make sure because I am a tanker. Hi, my name is Chris McMonigle. I'm a tanker. I do want to understand.
I understand why,
I do want you to understand that I understand that the coach on the field wants the coach to win that game, that the players on the field play to win that game, and they shouldn't do anything else but that. And I do think it's important for Jackson Dart to play. I wanted him to play last week. I don't know why they sat him last week. Behind the center was an interesting place to sit him, but that's what they did last week. I wanted to see him go against a good defensive coordinator. I wanted to go see him get challenged by one of the more aggressive defensive coordinators and a guy who's really excellent at disguising blitzes. That's the game to go play him. Instead, I'm sitting here going, well, what does it mean against the Raiders, a team that gave up? And now I got to sit here and think, well, okay, sure, it's important. They got to play. Well, what do I expect? What do I expect? What I expect is not to go into Week 17 with 2 wins every single year and sit there and have my mother walk into the room and go, oh, the Giants are winning. You must be happy. And then see my face and go, well, what the hell do you do this for? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I watch this team, because when they win, I'm pissed. When they lose, I'm pissed. I'm just pissed at the New York Giants because it's the same story every year. And it's so demoralizing as a fan. There's nothing worse, Jerry.
And I think that's the bigger point right there. Is that it's just been year after year after year. And
there's nothing worse to watch the game and it's 3rd and 6 and I hope it's an incomplete pass.
I get it.
I hate that. They've done it to me. I don't blame me because I'm doing the right thing. It's them. They put me in that position. I hope it's an incomplete pass on 3rd and 6.
I usually don't take calls in the first segment, but I have to take these two only because it illustrates exactly what you and I are discussing and what is being discussed on social media. I actually find it quite comical.
Yeah.
Let's start with John in Hofstra. Good morning, John. How are you?
Hello, fellas. How are you?
What's
morning,
going
John.
on?
I agree with both of you, and here's how you break this down. As okay, we understand nobody wants to tank. They're professionals. It's easy as fans to say that. Number 2, unless John Mara's brain dead, this coach and GM will be gone. Number 3, a couple of weeks from now or months from now, we're going to go like this. Giants could have attempted to rebuild this team by trading that number 1 pick for a few number 1s, a number 2, and instead we're going to possibly be picking 2 or 3, the same way we screwed this up when Tommy DeVito won a game and we could have had May or Jaden Daniels. I understand. I'm not angry. This was not done intentionally. But at the same time, I am angry and I am disappointed. And this is not about Jackson Dart. I completely understand. I cannot believe this team found a way to lose a game instead of finding ways to win a game. They just needed to lose this game. It is so infuriating.
Yeah, John, it is. I understand. Not that easy. Alex in Southampton. What's up, Alex?
How you doing, guys? Thank you for taking my call. C-Mac.
Yes, Alex. Thank you very much.
Wait till you come. I agree with you, C-Mac, with last 10 years, 15 years, whatever you want to say. Right now, we can't. I didn't mind us losing yesterday, but once the kids started playing, I forgot about it. I love the way he did. They're young. They need to get that winning sensation. They need that experience. I want to ask you a question before I continue. How could the Giants lose yesterday when Oakland set the 2 safeties and their best rusher? And they did Vegas, and they didn't want to tackle. You see the first 2 runs? They didn't want to tackle. So how
I get it.
that we could have lost that game?
No, I get it. Once you saw the 2 teams playing, it was quite obvious that the Raiders
are terrible.
The Raiders are terrible. They did put up a good week last week, so we had some high hopes. Once you saw what they were doing with the roster and sitting everybody down, you knew what was coming.
They played better. So I went back and watched a lot of that game because that was my point all week was you never know. They've been playing hard. That wasn't as close as the final score would indicate. And Houston did. That Houston team, which we're going to get to at some point this morning, that I saw Saturday was not the same Houston play. That was one of those, we're playing the Raiders. Right. We'll kind of take a day off. We'll win the game. And they did. The Raider team that I saw yesterday is kind of what we've seen for the back part of this. The interception he throws to Okereke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's been this year. Meaning Geno Smith, he's been bad since week 1.
Yeah.
And there's the conversation that Pete Carroll might not even last for a second season, mostly because they're annoyed he brought Geno Smith with him.
Right.
So seeing the Raiders play, that wasn't that was exactly what they've been all season.
Listen, I get that, but, and I do understand. Look, I'm frustrated that they won the game because they put themselves in a position where winning hurt. I'm more mad about the previous 16 weeks than I am yesterday. But can I push back on the idea of how important winning is? I get that he's a young quarterback, and you want to get that taste out of his mouth, as you put it, and you want to get him some wins under his belt in the NFL. But, I mean, where is the evidence that winning games down the stretch mean absolutely anything? You look at the teams right now. We're talking about Drake May and the Patriots. They went 1-6 down the stretch. 1-6. They hired the right coach. Boom. They've just won the division and uprooted the Bills, who've won it every year since 2019. The Bears were atrocious down the stretch of the season last year. They hired the right coach. They could be the ones. They lost last night, but they're going to win their division, and we're up for the 1 seed up until last night. Like, there is no evidence, none whatsoever, to suggest winning meaningless games against a Raiders team that gave up means anything towards next year. You're going to have a new coach. You should have a new GM, although the report says differently. Like, there's going to be upturn on every roster. There is nothing. You just said Neighbors is coming back. Like, guys who are going to be important to the team aren't here. They're going to be a completely different team with a new head coach, and this is some sort of game that they're going to build on. It means absolutely nothing.
I think it means something for the kid's psyche. I mean, I get it. Is there evidence? No, I don't have any statistical breakdowns for you, any scientific formulas.
Well, I don't know why not.
But I would tell you that I think for the kid, it's important. That's all. I think it's good for, Willie was talking last week about the confidence that someone can have going forward. If you lose every single, it doesn't mean he's going to be bad next year. I'm trying to be the light for you. That's all.
There is no light.
Here's the other part of it again.
Until they show me that there's light, there is no light. And Drake May it didn't bother Drake May losing down the stretch. It didn't bother Eli Manning to lose. I know that Cowboys game suddenly thrusted him into the is he a elite conversation. But didn't hurt Williams, didn't hurt May. You
still have an opportunity if you lose Sunday against the Cowboys to trade out of the number 2 pick. Because every mock draft does have the kid out of Oregon.
Yeah, if he comes out. Yeah.
So it's not like there are quarterback-hungry teams that are going to want to move up. It's not like all is lost. I will tell you, though, you win Sunday and you get to 4 and you start to move down in the order, I think you've got even more of an argument. And I wouldn't be shocked if they won Sunday.
And every year, a quarterback, something will happen. Someone will have a great pro day. Someone will have a great combine.
Happens all the time.
Like J.J. McCarthy, I felt like was a 3rd-round pick, and then suddenly he was a top 10 pick because he had a great pro day. Yeah.
What's his name? I already forgot his name.
Wilson?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, he shot out of nowhere
he did roll to his left and throw across his body. It was very impressive.
So did Cam Ward. How's that gone so far?
He's not terrible.
Oh, come on.
He's not terrible. They're a bad team. They're a bad organization. They've already fired their coach. But I watch him. I don't think he's that. I think he's pretty accurate. He almost made a spectacular play. Almost. Horizontally. I know.
And he does make great throws. You are correct. But anyway, all right, we got a lot to do. We're just getting started. 6:19. Boomer and G are out. It is C-Mac and Jerry in for the guys right here on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.